So we're out here, we're gonna try all different kinds of climbing methods. One sticking, no sticking, freaking miniature sticking, DRT.
Expensive, cheap.
Yeah, pretty much everything in between. Because nobody does videos on everything and their practicality because they're all sponsored by somebody or they're not and they only have one thing. Well, we're the idiots that bought everything. You got Lone Wolf custom gear, you got regular Lone Wolf sticks, you got a one stick that was made. I have another one stick that's a little shorter than that one. I have the mini muddies, but we're gonna be out here and we're gonna test them out. And we're gonna give honest opinions about what is the best climbing method for different situations, which is probably what it's gonna come down to, is situation based, because honestly, I think the sticks are gonna be the best for every situation. They're just not gonna be as practical. You set up your spots before you come out, right?
Yeah, that's ideal. I think it would be really hard to just walk in and throw this thing. And I mean, you could definitely do it. Some spots, it's the only thing you can do, I think.
What, DRT?
Yeah, I think literally some spots, some trees, this is literally the only thing you can do.
Every one of these methods has its place.
This is what I'm talking about. This would be tough.
All right, so what he's doing now, he's throwing a ball up over
like,
this tree. Right in between, like you want to aim for like a crotch of a tree, and like you can see this is pretty low. This is probably 10 feet, and like this is still a challenge because he's got to go through. There he goes. Okay. All right, so that goes up and over. All right, so it's through the crotch of that tree. The crotch of the tree, or like a limb branch like that would be like the crotch of a limb branch, is the strongest part of the limb, besides going around the trunk and like girth hitching it. Daryl, what saddle are you rocking?
This is a new Tribe, Kestrel Flex.
What don't you like about it? Because I know you ordered another one.
It's kind of heavy. It's kind of heavy. It's not a light mesh, and it's just the way it rides on me. It kind of digs into my legs, but I'm a thinner guy, so I think I'm gonna have that problem with a lot of different saddles. I just ordered another one just to try another one because.
What did you order?
Flat Branch Outdoors. A guy from, I think he's from Alabama. Just like that. So you turn one in, turn this one in. Need plenty of tail. I'm tying a Blake's hitch. This is like the simplest, one of the simplest knots you can use to do this technique with. This is a very tried and true technique.
And you learned this from what, arborists?
Well, it's an arborist technique. A lot of arborists talk about this, and they've been doing this for a long time before climbing hardware was a thing. If you watch a lot of arborist videos, they always talk about.
So you're just putting a knot there so it doesn't slide through?
Yeah. Putting a stopper.
So you can look up a Blake's hitch on another video.
When you dress it right, which really, one of the biggest things is pulling this tight. If you don't pull this tight, the tail tight, it'll slip. Now it's so tight that I can barely slide it up. But if you just slap it on there and you don't dress it tight, that'll slip, and you'll go to put it up and it'll slide right back down. I'm gonna get my gloves on. That's what I'm gonna do.
All right, so why do you have to wear gloves? Is that another thing you gotta bring with you?
That's something I've never heard anybody talk about with this DRT thing, is gloves.
He also complains about his hands a lot.
If you start messing around with this, you're gonna get some rope burn.
He's got very feminine hands.
Yeah.
So if you have soft, feminine hands,
yeah,
you need mechanics gloves or some other kind of glove.
If you got tough hands, you don't worry about it.
Yeah.
If you know what, just don't worry about it. Try without them and see what happens. This Blake's hitch is amazing. This hitch, when tied right and dressed right, will hold and actually outperform the rope. The rope will break before this hitch will break, or it'll cut because of the hitch almost, because it cinches down so tight on it. So this is, I don't worry about anything with this, especially with a new rope. People say with new ropes, this hitches don't need anything else. I mean, there's a million different mechanical things and gimmicks you can buy. With this, I don't have to carry anything else. There's no metal to make noise. There's nothing. There's literally the rope.
It's the only metal thing you got is a carabiner.
Yeah. Which is one of the things I like about this technique, because if you get this set up right, you don't have to carry anything metal with you except for a carabiner. And you could get Dyneema slings, so you wouldn't even have to do this. But it makes it easier because you can go on and off with it. But to get down, you just put it between your fingers. And I do this when I'm going down the tree.
Now why do you do that? To give yourself a little bit more friction?
Because I don't have to, this is it.
That's why your hand gets burned, because you're using that as like a stopping point, right?
This is a brake. This is the brake.
Okay.
I don't know if this is like a certified technique, but for me, this works. But I don't need anything. This is completely loose.
All right, gotcha. So that controls your descent, basically.
That's what I do. It's like a brake, like a safety brake.
All right.
The way you can go up with this is you pull down, slide that knot up. And it is.
Now, do you still hang your tether off of there for your saddle, or you just hang like that?
Well, you could. It depends on how high it is. If it's really high, I would switch to the tether.
Well, why would you do that if the rope's so strong? You know what I mean?
Because then you have
less stuff to worry about, right?
Because then you adjust the pressure points on your saddle.
Okay.
Because if this is really high, I don't know about everybody else, but I hunt with my saddle tether really low compared to a lot of people because of the way the pressure points are on me. But everybody does something different.
So it's preference, basically.
For me.
You could do it.
Yeah, you could do this all day long if you really wanted to. Like,
it's not going to break. There's no danger to it. It's just a comfort factor.
Not from my point of view.
Okay.
I mean, if I'm climbing with it, it's sturdy enough for me, but like the technique that makes it easier is to be like parallel and use like your legs.
So basically you're just standing straight up, pushing that Blake's hitch, leaning back down, getting your feet.
Demonstrating it really low.
You got to understand something too. Darryl, this is your what, second time doing this?
And yeah, this is pretty much my second time doing it. I've watched a lot of videos on how to do this. But the cool thing about this is it's already tied in. I'm safe with it. So I've got both hands and both feet to manipulate myself.
Yeah, your hands free. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You're just hanging there, Darryl.
So to come down, what I do is I bring the rope underneath my butt like this to add more friction on the rope and pull down on this, give it a little bit, gotta break the knot loose. And if something happens and
that's
I
a
let
nice
go,
descend. Yeah, so if you have a heart attack or something like that and you're dying, you could just let go of the rope and you're just gonna hang there, and then when somebody finds you, they find you, right?
Yeah, and what I like about it is if there's no metal on the tree for you to swing into. Like if you're one sticking and something happens, like you
your stick's done.
You slip or whatever, when you swing into the tree, those sticks could stick right in you. I don't like that, but I still do it. I like climbing sticks, but I've always worried about that.
Yeah, I'm getting tore up. Go ahead.
But this is, anybody can do this with the descent part of it. The climb part of it takes some technique, but it's not hard.
I honestly see why you use your fucking clubs.
Yeah, you're talking all this crap.
Freaking bugs. I want to make sure I can get down, honestly.
Yeah, well, it's not a problem getting down's the easy part. Put it over your saddle and kind of dig in your legs, and then you'll get some rug burn on your legs. And just like a little bit of, you're not gonna fall. You're not gonna fall. You could break that thing loose.
It's honestly not bad at all. It's the technique of getting up there.
Yeah, getting up there takes a little practice, but it's not
Is this what
hard.
those guys do?
You have to like trust the process. You have to like, the thing about it is you don't use your arms. You use your legs and like, you like thrust yourself up in like a, he calls it like a weightless state.
Yeah. Fuck this.
It's tough.
It really
The
is.
first time I did it, I was worn out. I did it 2 other times. Now it doesn't seem hard to me. But the first time you do it, it's fucked up.
All right, next. I'm good on that.
But I'm not tired at all from doing it. It's just a technique. It's like anything else.
All right, one thing I'm gonna say before anything is that these adjustable aiders here are the shit. Why I say that is because when you're wearing stuff like this, you can kick yourself in the head. It's nice, but when you go out here looking like the Michelin Man, because it's colder out, it's like you're trying to do this and you get here and you're like, have to lean back and put your foot in it. It just sucks. It's not fun. So get yourself some of these. I think they're superior by far. I think I got these from Eastern Woods Outdoors. So what you want to do, get yourself up to a, I like getting my first foot on the step, put my lineman's belt on, get that tight so I have both hands free.
You think that rope man thing's worth it?
Well, it's not rated for this rope, so yeah, I think it's worth it. I don't think it's, you either get that or another mechanical. I wouldn't go without one, if that's what you're asking. Is that what you're asking?
Well, you could just put a Prusik on there.
Yeah, I would go mechanical. I think Prusiks are nice. I think they work really well, but you know how they are. They're a pain. They're, this is like a hardware store. I don't know what you call this thing.
D-Link.
Yeah, D-Link. Anyway, put this up above you, and then you take, I have a little piece of, oh, what do they call this stuff, Daryl?
Gear tie.
Yeah, I got a gear tie on there to hold that rope, because if I didn't and I put tension off of it, this rope would just slide through and this thing would come down off of me. And that just sucks dealing with. So I'm just trying to get that branch on my face. Like, if you just put a little bit of tension on this, it'll pull right down to you. You want a short bridge, just like Daryl did with the other method. I'll pull this up, I'll get tension on it. I don't have it on right. It's another important thing.
Factor in the mechanical
stuff. Practice what you do, because I literally have to do this every time because I don't practice enough. I'm pretty sure it's on right now. But always, 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 before you undo your lineman's belt, pull this up. See, now it's not going to pull. I have it on backwards, don't I? Yep. All right, so now at least we know what we're doing.
Had it right the first time.
What's that?
You had it right the first time.
No, I didn't. This is right now. That's right. So I pull up, I put tension down on it, and you want this, like I want this on my right. Why? Because I'm right-handed, and see, like all my weight's on this now. Like it's gonna settle in, but I can hang here and I'm fine. Do not take this off until you get to that point. If you do and you die, well, your family's gonna be pissed, and it's not gonna be my fault.
Put over a little knot like that, it could slip down, and then you'll just go for a little ride, and then it'll grab again.
Like that.
Just like that.
There you go, demonstrating. All right, so basically what I do is I hug the tree like this. All right, I'm not gonna go anywhere, there's no more knots. If I do, you're gonna go for a little ride. It's really not that bad. Hold this, grab. It's probably my wife calling. Pull that off. When I pull this off, I'm gonna stand away from the tree. I'm gonna go up as high as I can. Now, I didn't go very high this time, but you can. As soon as I put this rope back on the tree, it's holding the stick. Like there's no hands on the stick. I guarantee you. It's my wife. Put this back through. Do not rush this. Stand away, pull that back down. You saw how far that dropped. If I put weight on that, you know, nothing would happen per se, but you wouldn't want to do this again. See how it's like sliding down the tree a little bit? All right, once I get to this point, there's a crotch right here. I go back to my lineman's rope. Very important. I don't want to be without something on the tree. I always want something connected. Tighten this up, my hands are free again. That's why you have this D loop here, or D, what's it?
D-ring.
D-ring. See, Daryl's the terminology major over here. Take this out. Pick a side. Pick which way you want your angle to be. Go through the center of your lineman's belt, because that'll happen. But this is all stuff you'll figure out as you do it. We're just giving you a little rundown of how easy it is and how efficient it is. This to me is way easier than that DRT crap. But I'm not used to it. Do I think there's validity to it? Absolutely. Do I think it's for me right now? Absolutely not. I got enough stuff to worry about. And so look, very important. I feel like I'm tethered into the tree real nice, right? If I was rushing, I would just undo this lineman's belt and put all my weight down. But you see how loose this is? No. We want to go up, make sure, lean into that. Okay, now I know that if I take tension off of this, I'm still good to go. Very important. If you don't do that, I promise you, one of these times that you're in a tree, you are going to get seriously hurt, and it's going to be your fault because you rushed. So basically what I want to do, I want to stand up here, I want to grab this. Now I have this on here. I can move this to wherever I want to go. You know, there's little branches here, so I should have not done this right away. I should have got myself tethered in on the top step and did this, but I was trying to explain everything and life happened. So basically, I mean, this is only one move so far, and I'm literally as high as Daryl was with that rope. So if I go up 2 moves, I'll show you. I'm gonna do the same thing. Now this branch leans towards me, so I'm gonna fight gravity, right? It's gonna put me into the tree, kind of away from it. So what I wanna do is, I wanna kind of hook and put my feet here. Now see how that's too far from me? I can't reach that. It's really not a big deal, right? I can't breach it. So what I do, I'll stand here again on these nice little Mad Rock Safeguard.
Safeguard. Yeah, the thing that you can't find in the world.
The ones that they don't make anymore. No, I'm just kidding. But
pretty much.
You do that, come across, grab this, all right? This is really like difficult for some people, but you really need to use your legs. If you have like no dexterity in your legs, which I don't have much, I think jiu-jitsu has helped me with that, but you're gonna have a hard time doing this. This is definitely not an easy method to do, but it's not a hard method to do. Probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but trust me when I say it's not easy, but it definitely isn't hard. It's doable. You can definitely learn it, but you need to learn how to hook your legs. And like I said, I think jiu-jitsu has really helped me do that. So now what I do, another thing too, you want your toe into the tree. Anytime you're using kind of like an aider like this, you need if your toe's like this and you put weight on it, you're gonna slip out. You want your toe into the tree. All right, hang on to the tree. Put your toe into the tree and climb. Now on 2 moves, I mean, what do you think I am?
You're at least 12 feet to your feet.
And I would hang my platform somewhere in here, right?
Yeah.
So I'd probably be about, I don't know, 13 to 14 feet. We'll just say 13 feet.
Which is a lot.
For 2 moves, yeah, absolutely.
In a lot of hunting situations, you don't have to be higher than that. Because if you go into a spot that you don't have all trimmed out with shooting lanes and everything else, it seems like if you go 20 feet high, you don't have as many shooting lanes as if you're 10 to 15 feet high. Just the way the woods work around here. I don't know where it is, what it's like out west or in the Midwest or anywhere else. But here it seems like if you go into an area where you don't have any shooting lanes cut, 10 to 15 feet high is about where you want to be.
So what I do with this is I'll take this, clip it right on that D-ring. Undo your gear tie. If you don't, well, you're about to find out. Oh, probably help if I wasn't standing on that, right? Pull this up. Look, my stick is not going to move anywhere because my bridge is on it. Come away, pull the stick out. I'll wrap everything up before I go down. So what I usually do,
Just throw that thing.
is do this.
Tie it to the rope and let it down.
And I'll wrap this a couple times. Wrap. Oh, other way. You want to go so when you put it in that cam cleat, it'll lock it in there. Now everything is nice. Hold this in my hand. Now what you can do, if you weren't fighting gravity, it's so much easier when you're in a tree that's straight, not like this. But you can literally just sit here and just, if you want to do it quiet, you don't even need to put like your legs on here. But when you do, say you get a tree that's normal like it is right now, you would just walk. All right, so when that's done, you're gonna take this all apart. This is the only pain about this, is if you're not used to this, and this is how it goes. So there's a little man on here, and there's a tag end. It seems really simple until you look at that picture. Take this out, put in your carabiner, move on with life. So now that that's out, right? So I got all my stuff on the ground. This is called Dynamo line or something.
Dynaglide.
Yeah. I'm just gonna pull. As I pull, my rope's gonna come down to the tree. Now, especially on shaggy bark, it's gonna be a pain.
Like a hickory tree, you might as well not even do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really gonna suck. But look, when you get here, you simply take your carabiner off, you undo your gate. I mean, you don't even need to do this, honestly. I do it so I'm ready for the next time. Take this out, pull my rope through. So your cleanup is nothing. I mean, nothing. Which is the main reason why people do this, is because you can get down and out quick. Because I mean, the hardest part is getting your, especially at night. I mean, setting up in the morning sucks. I don't know if I do this in the morning. I mean, I guess I would if I knew the spot. But getting down at night, I mean, we both said the same thing. Taking your sticks out in the dark, you know, when you're trying to be quiet, not trying to use a headlight, it just sucks. It really does. And this just makes it, I mean, it's simple.
It's way easier, I think.
It's way easier.
Way faster, too. People talk about how much time it takes to climb the tree. This, I don't care which way you climb the tree, it's 10 times faster coming down.
Yeah. This stuff, I will tell you this about this. Ugh. It gets wrapped around everything. So like if you're near a picker bush, or like Mount Olive bushes like we have around here, if this stuff gets in there, it's like getting fishing line and like real thick weeds when you're fishing.
Braid.
I mean, it just doesn't want to come out. I mean, you're literally fighting it. You rip down half the forest trying to get this out.
Like when you have it like up on there like that, it'll roll down, but without any weight on it. But when you put weight on it, it's like cutting into the tree. So what I do to do it is I try to go up the tree in one pass, like one ascent, without coming back up and down. That's like the goal. Does that happen every time? No. So I have my ropes hanging out, and I have little loops hanging off of here.
He's going to immediately put on his lineman's belt. Because obviously, you know, anything can happen. The tree could fall down. But this to me, is the first thing you should do anytime you're at a height where you could seriously hurt yourself. What do they say, 5 feet or 8 feet you can kill yourself or something like that?
I wouldn't want to fall 4 feet.
No, I mean, I fell 16 feet out of a tree stand before, and it was not fun.
It depends what you fall on.
All right, so in one move, you saw how long that took. In one move, Daryl is up. Like I said, I'm 5'10". He's up to my shoulders on the bottom step. Oh no, top step, I'm sorry. Top step. So he's at, like, we'll say 5 foot. And that's with an aider.
I have 20-inch aiders on here. And I put the aider on. I put the stick like as high as like my knee would be on the aider. You could probably go higher, but
you want to be comfortable. You can't.
I mean, when you're wearing hunting clothes, wearing muck boots.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier about that aider that I have. It's adjustable. It is so nice because you can shorten it or lengthen it depending on, you know, the situation you're in. Like right now, we're in light clothes. It's 70, it's probably 80 degrees out. It's not bad. It's a good day in PA, put it that way. But if you weren't, you know, and you come out here looking like the Michelin Man, it's going to be a problem. See, middle of his foot into the aider and his toe dug into the tree. Very important. If you don't do that, you're going to go for a ride. You're only going to do it once. All right, so in 2 moves, he's as high as I did in the 1 stick in 1, basically.
Yeah, and you should really have 2 linemen's of rope so you're never disconnected from the tree. But I like to live on the edge.
Yeah, you're supposed to use 2 linemen's ropes, especially when you're going up trees with a lot of branches.
And it is way safer.
I mean, if you're using this, honestly, you're going to have a tether on you anyway, so you could literally put your tether above you if you feel safer doing that. I don't like hanging 2 linemen's belts off of my stuff because it just gets in the way. So if I ran into a situation like that, I would just tie my tether up like I'm hunting, use that, and then maneuver my lineman's belt to where I need to. So I don't have that problem.
The lineman's belt makes this so much easier. Like you could do this without a harness, without a lineman's belt. You could just hang off the tree with one arm like everybody did forever. But, you know, we didn't get to the top of the food chain by doing stuff the hard way.
All right, let's be honest here. Out of all the methods, this one has been the fastest to get up the tree. I mean, if we're being completely honest, this has been absolutely, I would smoke the other ones getting up the tree. I don't think it's going to win overall because of how the descent is going to go. Unless you just throw your stuff out of the tree. And I guess you could do that.
That's what I do most of the time. Yeah, this is it. I'm about to the same height that you were at.
Yeah, he's on the right side of the tree. That's where I should have went up. That track that he took up the tree, that is like a perfect track. Especially if you're in a saddle, because if your platform was in between those Ys, you could use that back Y as a backrest. You wouldn't even need a back band. You can just lean up there and pretty much fall asleep. But it's perfect.
This is why I like having small, compact sticks with aiders. Because I was up here in what, 5 minutes at the most?
Yeah, I don't think you were that. Honestly, if you weren't just screwing around, I think you would be up there and probably four minutes, something like that.
Now, with your bow and your tree stand, or your bow and your saddle platform and backpack and hunting situation.
You're talking 10 minutes with that.
Wearing different clothes, everything. It takes longer for sure. But, I mean, if everything goes right, you can be up here in under 5 minutes.
With your bow and everything?
I don't know about with your bow. I'm talking about up to hunting height. Then you got to put your platform on or whatever you want to do. Now, coming down is way harder than coming up, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's practicality for everyone. If you're going to the woods and you're going to go to a spot that you have no idea what you're going to run into, I think a saddle and sticks are your best option. If you have no idea what you're going to run into, because I don't think there's a situation that you can get in where sticks wouldn't work and one of the other methods would. I think sticks will work in every instance. they're cumbersome, they're heavy, they're, you know, they stick out, they're more stuff, they're metal, more noise. They're really, I mean, they're really annoying to take down in the dark.
Yeah, these in the dark
Especially how sharp they are.
not fun.
And I'll tell you what, to Lone Wolf's credit, they made the standoffs on those things, when they stick to a tree, I mean, they'll literally just stick into the tree. They're really good, but they are terrible to take down. I mean, if you get into like a real, like knot in a tree and those things set themselves, they are a nightmare to get out of a tree.
Getting down with these 8ers in the dark.
Yeah, that's I had those 8ers too. I didn't like them. Honestly, they're nice because you get another step out of them. You're basically turning a 2-step into a 3-step. But finding those things, especially in the dark. Now, the cable ones are definitely better than the old rope ones that you'd buy off Amazon and you'd friggin', you know, especially the movable 8ers. Those cable ones, even that ladder I have on mine, that 8er on my 1-stick, those cable ones are nice because they stick out and it's easy to find with your foot. Well, other than that,
now. Now you have to be careful. You will twist your knee in these things.
yeah, those cables, man, they dig into your boots.
They will twist your knee.
All right, just got the last stick off, so we're at 13 minutes. It took 13 minutes for him to get up that tree and back down that tree without taking his bow, without setting his platform, and without being able to hunt until he set his tether and everything else up. So it's not terribly slow.
But now I gotta put them back together.
But now he's got to put all of them back together and try not to make noise when he does it.
Definitely loud.
All right, so having done all these methods, which one would you say is the best?
Me?
Yeah.
It's really like it's situational. Like this would be, like this was good for this tree. But if this tree was 6 feet around and it had a nice big branch sticking off of it about 25 feet up, the DRT would be great. And if it was a tree where it was real straight up and down and didn't have a lot of branches on it, but it wasn't too big and you had no branches low enough to throw a rope over, the 1-stick or a climber all the way. I think the 1-stick is a great option.
I do too.
I really like it. I like these probably the most, but I'm more used to these than anything else. I've been climbing with sticks for years and years.
Let's go with problems. Problems would be, especially with the 1-stick, if the tree is not straight and you're not climbing it in the right direction, like you saw me climb that tree and I was leaning back, it's harder to do than just having sticks and climbing up because you're fighting gravity, because basically you're hanging, you're like a plumb level. So you're literally the plumb on the end of a string, and if you'll swing all over the place. I mean, it's not fun. So a tree like this, honestly, it's not bad. It really isn't. It's just how you approach it. So like I approached it from this angle, right? So I came here and I went straight up. Now this limb right here comes back. That's the problem I had. That's why it was like such a pain to get my foot in the ladder and everything else. But the other thing is, if you have a tree that leans the opposite direction and you're using an 8er, the 8er lies against the tree. And you have to like literally grab it and put your foot into it, which pretty much defeats the whole purpose of it, especially when you're trying to, if God forbid you have to climb down or something, you know, I don't know why you would have to, but say your rope wasn't set and you couldn't rappel down and you needed to climb back down and you're going against a tree, you know, it's a pain. But other than that, I mean, I'm 1-sticking all day. That's my preferred method. Now this DRT thing, you saw me try. It was a terrible, terrible attempt. But that's literally the first time I've ever even tried it. I've watched one video on it 2 years ago from the New York, what are those guys called?
New York Saddle Hunters.
New York Saddle Hunters. They're getting a lot of shout outs from Daryl today. They had a really good video on it. I just really didn't pay attention and it was 2 years ago. So don't take my word for it, but to me it was very, I mean, it's definitely technique based, and I don't have the technique down. So for me, one sticking is where I'm sticking to if I'm going in the woods. Now, if I didn't know an area and I knew that there was a lot of weird trees, or like if I was hunting up the mountains and hills, I'm taking regular sticks. I'm not taking a climber. I'm taking regular sticks. And I'm still hunting out of a saddle because I think they're more versatile than any tree stand, in my opinion. Daryl?
I think most of the time I'm taking my 3 compact sticks. I have original Lone Wolf sticks too, and I like to use those as well because they're bigger, so you can kind of gain more ground faster with them. And I like to use those. I like the real climbing sticks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the one sticking thing more. I'm gonna try it for sure. It's definitely not my preferred method right now, but I'm used to this.
One thing I'm gonna say real quick. Get one of your mini sticks over here. One thing I'll say about this one stick that I put together. You see how far the standoff comes off of the tree? It is awesome. I mean awesome. Like, put yours in the same spot that was.
Yeah. If you built
See how
sticks,
close that is?
Yeah.
Like, it's half the distance, and that doesn't look like a lot, but when you're putting your foot on there and your foot doesn't have to be sideways, it's so nice.
Yeah. If you built sticks with all that stuff, it would be great.